Last time on the Chaotic Retrospective, we talked about basically the basics of characters from the first few seasons where the beginning of the show. And now let's end with the last a major character showing up, plus a fan favorite episode at the end. What is it for this episode of Chaotic Retrospective Part 3? Let's find out. Hey everyone, Cody Rhodes, a Deco Man. Time for another edition of me talking about the Chaotic series, and this will be the last one for until the reboot happens, in my promise, because in mid-September we're getting the reboot. So we're gonna take a break doing anime or toku stuff or hobby stuff. Only time will tell. But anyhow, welcome to the Chaotic Retrospective Part 3. Let's begin. Today's we start off with the Ninja Turtles explaining the show. Wait, what? Yeah, that's right. This between episodes 8 and 9, there's the TMNT weird mashup special called Chaotic Codes Equal Power, which was a clip show referencing the show for the first two airings of the show when it came out. Got that good. Let's officially begin with episode 9 and 10, Castle or Boat or Bus, Part 1 and 2. Let's begin. This episode shows Tom, Sarah, and Kaz and Peyton basically grabbing more Scractal scales for hearing, which is not in this episode, but anyhow, this is the introduction of Dractyl. They do a joke scene, they find a scanner, which belongs to a person named Reggie 1. But if you know the show and looked up the internet, there was like a preview of this scene plot point on a website. But that's not really important. That's just a little tidbit. But anyhow, meanwhile, back on Earth, yes, this is the first time they went back on do an Earth scene since episode 2. And basically, Kaz and Tom looks at Kaz's email he's writing, and you think then the next day happened, some British guy shows up named Reggie. Reggie's basically a kid who got his code about a year ago, half a year ago, and he lost his code hasn't seen himself for 6 months or a few months. And in between that, he got crippled. Yes, he's a crippled character in the sense that he paralyzed from the waist down, which is kind of weird because when we see him in his first appearance in Param, he doesn't have his wheelchair because of that plot point. Got that? Good. Because that's kind of confusing and weird, but you notice for part 2. Basically help. They don't have they need to find a code for Castle Baldrin, which they don't have. They meet Bruiser 13, who's basically a friend who can help, who acts like a douche at the beginning, and he's like, well, if you want my Castle Baldrin card, you have to beat me in a battle with Fractal at Castle Baldrin. But if you lose, I will give you your Master card. Yes, this is basically the losing Exodia moment of Chaotic. What is a losing Exodia, you ask? In the original Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yuki lost his Exodia in the first episode. Then in episode 3, Weeble frozen in the water. A plot device where a main character gets a very good, strong card, then loses it because of plot, and basically gets replaced with gets a newer version sometimes, or it's like a character arc where he doesn't want to use it, like with Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. But anyhow, losing Exodia is when a character gets nerfed, which really I will explain in a future explain later. But anyhow, basically, Tom loses, used the Fortissimo, like in the first episode, but anyhow, Dractyl uses Song Reversal. Song Reversal! Won't do. No! Yeah, that's a cool twist where he loses, and basically Tom loses the card. But anyhow, the Bruiser 13's like, well, is this if it's for him, yeah, Reggie, 1, I will help you, and gives the card even if he lost his Maxor for no reason. Now we get to part two. Part two is basically about Tom and Kaz getting trapped and starts back on Earth again, where they like acknowledge what happened in part one. They get captured with Fractal, which is like a guard for Castle Boldrin, a character that I'm not thinking not important. He's sort of important, sort of not. He's neutral, important, if you could say. And they finally introduce, now that Tom lost his Maxor, time for Maxor to come back. Come back, finally a main debut of him in Param version. Yes. And he gets up. Tom, at first, Maxor doesn't like Tom. They do a whole speech where Tom and Kaz talk about. Kaz is like, sometimes you don't get the freaking Kaor, which is next episode, but I will explain it in a moment. That episode happens. Well, also, this is our first Mepedian episode officially with the thing. They reference Spectral Viewers and a few other things. Dracto shows up to get the Peyton and Sarah try to get the scanner back. Dracto flies, and they use Fortissimo to turn Fracto into a giant at the climax episode. And Tom almost gets Maxor, but he runs away last minute. Maxor leaves in the last minute, which he doesn't get it for now, but he will get it later, which I will explain next time. But anyhow, next episode, after getting Reggie, they get a prize, and Tom doesn't want a prize. Someday he wants to get Maxor again. Only time will tell, and he's going to get it back in a future episode, which we will not explain now because that's not for this part. But anyhow, next time you will see a reasoning of it. I won't explain what it is. Only time will tell. Okay, next episode is I really wanted to end it here, but no. I have 3 episodes that I thought were filler that really were more important filler. So let's talk about them, which are episodes 11 with freaking Bulger, with freaking Von Blut, our main villain for season 1. Closest thing we have to a villain. Basically, Von Blut is Kaor's rival / more evil villain who is basically our Starscream, where he's not the leader of the team, but he wants to be the leader. So goddamn bad. Where Starscream is very annoying, Von Blut's more evil. And basically, the episode has Castle Von Blut, which is like a scan of it, which Tom needs to find a Von Blut. Kaz. Basically, this episode is also Kaz's first match since episode 5. Basically, this episode's great because, oh god, one of the funniest parts is like the placing where the plot is basically Kaz battling some random guy. Random guy shows up, and surprisingly, the random guy helps Von Blut, double-crossing him later in the episode at the end, and it turns out Takidon was double-crossing him all along, as in a double-cross within a double-cross, which is kind of funny, but anyhow, that episode's great. Also, Takidon makes her first official appearance while seeing her in the beginning of the show. Now we see actual Takidon, which are basically our female member of the underworld. Now let's talk about the overworld. Next episode is like a lore exposition for the female version of her. Interests. In this episode, you see a fight battle of the sexes against Peyton from our last time showed up in episode 3 to freaking Cristela, making her first of 3 appearances in the show that she fights in. And basically, Cristela and her fight, and the joke is you didn't realize it was boys versus girls, while Peyton being boys and Cristela being girls, but other way around, which is kind of funny of a filler, but anyhow, kind of funny, weird. But anyhow, the episode explains that freaking interest is save the overworld from like a chaos event where the border of it, or the ridge, I forget what it's called, but the passage, I think it's called. Basically, the passage goes and does it, and basically said passage almost got destroyed. Banks the interest to counteract to it, which is a good filler episode to explain that. And next episode, and our last episode for today, is one of the show's most magnum opus episodes. Episode 13. I forget the name, but sorry. Episode 13, Duel. No. Anyhow, episode 13 is introducing us to the Codemaster plot. I'm sorry, because I wanted to say the name, but I forgot. I'm sorry. But anyhow, the point is, this episode is awesome. This is basically an episode where Tom complains of losing because of freaking Lost Max, or he since not lose him, hasn't had a losing streak because he lost Maxor and gets complained about it. And anyhow, the plot of the episode introduces us to a plot point called the Codemasters. And this is the part of the show that everyone loved, the mystery of the Codemasters. There are 7 Codemasters, and I said the Betadrome didn't count as a Codemaster, forgot to mention that, but anyhow, there are 8 battle drones, Betadrome being the unofficial one, and the 7 main drones, which are led by the Codemaster. When you win 7 matches, you battle Codemaster. And they're sort of like gym leaders in Elite Four fused together, where they're powerful as an Elite Four while being a gym leader as the head of it. Got that? Good. Basically, this is one of the best episodes of the show, because Tom goes back, he gets sad about it's not the cards, it's the players. Sarah says it's a lesson. Then he counters Codemaster secretly. He battles. He does that. He says the speech. Tom is like, no. And basically the episode's like, he battles Kim at the Betadrome, which is mysterious reasons that we will never explain because the show ended without explaining it, but I believe it's basically his potential or big potential of a character arc, if that makes any sense. But anyhow, basically he uses a creature named Ursus, which doesn't belong to a tribe, but sort of looks like an overworld in the description of the episode, because one thing, tribalists don't exist until set 8. So basically, you think it's an overworld there at the beginning, but really it's a tribelist because it's from the past section, which I will explain later on when we get to season 3, but tribalists are basically the colorless of this cart of chaotic. Let me explain. Codemasters are basically a tribelist is not really a tribe, but they're like a 6 faction. There is a 5th one, which we will explain in season 2. But anyhow, the point is, basically, each of the Codemasters are named after the 4, a letter in chaotic, Krellin being one of the 7. The others are M4, Potom being the 2 other Codemasters we will see as time progresses of the show. But anyhow, those other 4 we don't see, like Amzus or the other ones. But the point is, this show's best part is the Codemaster mystery. Are they connected to the Kafka, which I won't explain because, Kafka is like telling the One Piece. Not really that important until it is important, maybe, but only time will tell for that. Long time, maybe, for One Piece. But anyhow, point is, the Chromax is very not Chromax, Ursus. Basically, Ursus is very strong, and he has a battle gear known as Drawskin, which is the most valuable card in the entire card game because it's like a promo card, but it's also freaking overpowered. It's immune to any attack, normal attack damage, which is kind of deadly. So the only way to destroy it is destroy it with a way to destroy the battle gear, which is weird. They do cast some area. Tom doesn't realize it, and now Cormac reveals it as him right before the final match. Tom battles him, learns his lesson, then basically realizes next time he battles Krellin, he's gonna win. And that's how the episode mystery is. What happens to, will Tom get his card back? Will he get Maxor back? Or does something bad happen to Maxor? Well, make it Tom explain. On the Chaotic Retrospective. If you like Chaotic's retrospective this far, sorry that I coughed a lot. Something's in my throat, and this is one tape. Please forgive me. This is saying bye-bye for now.